Okay, today we are playing a game on Junkertown. We are playing Winston the entire way through, and there's no SR for today's game because it was a placement game. I know we're currently Zarya. Also, we're Zarya for about 30 seconds, so don't worry about it. And because it's a placement game, we aren't gonna worry about our team comp, because who knows, we could be bronze for all we know. Who knows, we might be. Look what Reinhardt's up to, isn't there? Oh, I see, look at him go, look at him go. So, we've got to defend Junkertown first, which is, I find, easier than attacking Junkertown usually, but only slightly, honestly. It's one of those maps where I find it's quite easy to get just snowballed on. So they've got a Widowmaker. That's inconvenient for us, obviously, and there's also a Hanzo. Oh, I wonder why we changed to Winston. Also, I'd like to point out, we're using the Winter Zarya skin. We're in the middle of fucking Australia. And she's from Russia, naturally, right? So she's got to be about to just drop over dead from heat stroke right about now, to be honest. So our Hanzo's killed their Hanzo, which is a shocking surprise, honestly. Their Reinhardt, he's bad, and he let their shield break. However, we got shot by Widowmaker, which is suboptimal. I couldn't actually even see Widowmaker, to be honest with you. Even after going back again, still couldn't actually see her. So, life is difficult sometimes. So we've changed to Winston. It's okay. Now we've entered the actual part of the video. So there's also a Genji now, instead. So, oh, look. Winston's pretty good to play against that team, isn't he? So we've got to wait for our team to regroup, because we just all got clapped, basically. It's a little tight to make it back out, but that's not gonna dissuade Reinhardt. We've jumped on Zenyatta, however, Anna starts healing Zenyatta, and it becomes at that point quite difficult to kill Zenyatta, but then she left. Or no, she actually died. She didn't leave. Well, okay, she left in a manner of speaking, but she didn't, like, leave him. Not out of pure malice, just incompetency instead. So when we were, you know, try and put the moves on Zenyatta a little bit, because he is one of those guys that can, like, if he's good, he can kill you before you kill him if you're coming at him without full health. So, like, you know, juke a little, crouch on crouch, you know, give him one of those. Because you can, like, head hitbox still really fucking big, but if you duck, you might still dodge it. Rather than just, like, basically running straight at the dude. So Genji's behind us, and he's up to no good. It's gonna be hard for us to kill Genji, honestly, because we're quite low when we start this fight, and he gets to all the health kits before we do. But then, oh, we're starting to try and put the moves on him. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus Christ. It went a lot better than expected, honestly, because... Oh, no, further back than that. That's probably too far back. Too far back. Whatever. It'll do. Honestly, this is already the point where I'd be like, maybe I don't want to keep chasing Genji. Because this is, like, only slightly more health than a squishy target has. But we're way easier to hit than a squishy target is. So, he could kill us, and now we're down to a squishy target health. So, like... And now it's all fucked. As soon as he jumps down there to try and get the health kit, I'm just gonna leave, because I'm not gonna risk dying an embarrassing death to this Genji, basically. But even, like, at, like, 230-ish health that we were at, like, that's already kinda low to actually try and kill Genji as Winston. Because Winston's really fucking easy to hit, as it turns out. So, we ended up dying. Team is still fighting out here. Zenyatta's elected to use Graviton. Zenyatta's elected to use Transcendence. He hasn't elected to use Graviton. As scary as that would be, there is a world out there where everything's exactly the same, except Zenyatta has Transcend. Whatever. We're abandoning that joke right now, because it's all fallen apart. Life is so hard sometimes. So we got out here. We almost got a Primal Rage built up, but... Genji used Dragon Blade, and then we got slapped by Reinhardt. It was all very terrible, all round, and, like, honestly, we didn't deserve to hold the point for as long as we did, honestly. Like, everything went better than expected from how it went. Because after we were rushing back, like, the very first time to contest it after changing to Winston, like, it was already looking like we might immediately lose it after starting the fight, but we didn't, so it went, like, better than we could have hoped to, really. So, teams regrouping, however, Zenyatta just got picked off by Widowmaker, but now their Widowmaker got picked off by Hanzo, so... depending on how you look at it, either team could have won on that one, because we lost Zenyatta, who's our off-healer, but they lost one of their DPS. We still have both our DPS and our main healer, so... theoretically, we have the advantage because we should have more damage. However... that depends on how good the DPS are, doesn't it? More than anything else. Also, they've removed Transcendence, which could be, you know, like, if they had Dragon Blade ready for this team fight, losing Zenyatta would be awful. But Genji just used Dragon Blade, like, 20 seconds ago, so he doesn't have it. Does mean we don't have it for Graviton instead. But we've got Primal Rage ready, so, and that didn't even kill all of our team. So, honestly, like, we'll probably still hold the objective all the same, because now we get to use Primal Rage, beat on these people who don't have their healer with them, try and bully Widow again, fell off the platform. Ooh, double jump, look at that. We got there in the end. We didn't execute that super well. If anybody ever tries to tell you that Winston doesn't have any execution to him at all, just show him, like, this 10-second period right here, right? Oh, fuck, right? Oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh, oof. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus Christ. There's execution to Winston. Is it as high as someone like Widowmaker or Ashe? No. But there is execution with Winston. And there's actually a lot of cool stuff you can do with Primal Rage that frankly is beyond me. If you go and, like, look at somebody who's really good at Winston, they can do some really cool Primal Rage stuff where they just fucking juggle you to death, basically. And it's very impressive. Fuck if I know, though. About the extent of tech I know for Primal Rage is, you jump on the guy, you punch him, right, you jump on him, non-Primal Rage, you jump on him, you do all the usual business, you punch him as you're landing him, blah blah, then you rage. Then you punch him again with your rage, but it's reset the cooldown, so you jump after him, then you wait for half a second when you land in front of him, so that your jump cooldown comes off again, then you punch him again, follow him, and then just bash, 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 and he's basically dead. That's about as deep as I get. I know that after the first jump in Primal Rage, you wait for just a second for your jump cooldown, then punch him again. And that's it. I also know if you hold back, you jump less far, and that's helpful when lining things up, especially in Primal Rage. You can do a lot of cool stuff with Primal Rage, but, like, too much for me. Too much for me. I'm busy over here being like, can we get Primal Rage to put you in the third-person camera? Because I get mad disorientated the second I start using Primal Rage. Because I'm jumping everywhere, they're going everywhere now. It gets, I just immediately lose track of everything. And that's why I'm bad. I like the nice, straightforward, simple to execute ultimates. Reinhardt, they're all on the ground, or not, if I'm bad. Right? Bridget, everybody has armor now, or not. If they decide that they immediately want to split up. Moira, I used the Kamehameha. Ashe, I deploy Daddy. All very straightforward ultimates to use. I don't want to have to do any of this nonsense juggling people. Fuck that shit, that's too hard. Let me just slap the ground once and then hit them. So much easier, so much. Or just delegate. Daddy, go kill the men. So we got Earth Shatter. What wonderful timing that was. As soon as I push play, bam, we're on the ground again. I didn't even see Reinhardt? Yeah, I never actually saw Reinhardt in there. Alright. By the way, this truck is one of those things that upsets me that we got Earth Shattered behind right here, because this truck is one of those things where I've observed inconsistent results around. Because, you know, it's a hover car. I understand. Sometimes Earth Shatter goes under this truck, and sometimes it does not. So, this is one of those pieces of geometry that upsets me sometimes, because Earth Shatter does not act the same way around it every time. And I mean, you know, it should be, right, like it goes under the payload, because all the payloads levitate, right? Which it doesn't always do, either, still. So, you know, I get it, but, like, we need more bug fixes, okay? Like, there's still a bunch of shit with Reinhardt that happens sometimes and upsets me. Don't get me wrong. It's 1,000 times better than it was. Because now, you use Earth Shatter on a staircase, fuck, it doesn't just get absorbed by the staircase anymore. If you Earth Shatter the man's shield, there isn't just like a 50% chance it goes under the shield anyway. Simultaneously, if you Earth Shatter someone in full view of you, there isn't a 50% chance it just does nothing. So it's a lot better than it was, because, man, it didn't even feel good when you would Earth Shatter the guy with his shield up, and you just watched it hit him anyway. Like, I didn't deserve that. That boy got cheated over there. He blocked it. He did it, but then he got hit anyway. It doesn't even feel good. There was a lot of shit. There's a lot less shit now. But still, you know. Does it always go under the payload? Probably like 70% of the time. More bug fixes still. More bug fixes. But it took us fucking 2 years to have half that Reinhardt shit fixed. So I ain't holding out any hopes for it getting fixed anytime soon. So we got slapped. I was busy complaining, which is my favorite thing to do. You know how it is. So let's back it up a little bit. A little bit more. I heard Genji use Dragon Blade, so that's a problem for us. We got that lady. Genji's using Dragon Blade right now, but we're busy trying to kill this guy. As soon as the bio grenade landed on him, I kind of gave up hope on this, honestly, because that also means that, like, she threw it there. That means Ana knows that we're trying to kill Winston. We're trying to kill Zenyatta right now. So you'd expect her to continue helping him. Right, so as soon as I see the bio grenade land on Zenyatta, I'm actually just gonna give up. Because I'm gonna assume the Ana's paying attention, right? We'll assume the Ana's gonna play well until proven otherwise. So then I'm not gonna jump anymore, and I'm just gonna go and, like, try and kill Ana, probably, or Genji, maybe, because he's using Dragon Blade. Though, realistically, we lost that fight regardless. We did push jump only slightly after the grenade landed on him, so, you know, it's possible we were just already committed to it and just, like, didn't react in time. But, still, we jumped on the boy, so I'm gonna say it, I wouldn't have jumped on the boy anymore. Because we should assume the Ana's gonna play well, and, like, continue healing the man we're trying to kill. Especially if it's someone like Zenyatta, who's pretty important. If we knew where Ana was exactly, we could body block him. Because then if we just stand in between Ana and the person we're trying to kill, Ana can't heal the person anymore, because she actually needs to have line of sight to the guy. So, you know, if we know exactly where she is, we can finagle it like that as well, but, like, if we don't know exactly where she is, it's kind of hard to do that, unless we're, like, fucking omniscient. So, we lost the second checkpoint. Honestly, like, whatever. 90% of Junkertown is the first checkpoint, and then the remaining 10% is the other two checkpoints. Like, sometimes, like, I see it ended on the first point relatively often. I see it end on the second point rarely, but sometimes, but it's almost always the third checkpoint, because this one is really hard to regain momentum on, isn't it? Like, you lose momentum when you get round the bend. Oh, shit. Dude. Oh, God, what do we even do? You've always got some people who are like, I'm gonna go down on the left-hand side, and some are gonna go, like, I'm gonna go over, and then some that are like, I'm just gonna run all the way up the payload track again, and then go around the bend, you know. Basically take the path of most resistance, pretty much, but, you know. Everybody's always got different ideas about where they're gonna go, and it's just this long tunnel with not a lot of cover to use in it. Oh, God. It's one of the worst ones to lose momentum on, in my opinion. Competing with it would be third checkpoint, Dorado. And I was going to say Dorado again, end of the second checkpoint, but that's kind of cheating to save the same map twice, isn't it? Dorado is, like, closest one for me. So you lose momentum on the third checkpoint on Dorado. Oh my god, like right under that bridge. Oh, just forget about it. That's it. That's like the next like 10 minutes of my life trying to get that one moving again, isn't it? Anyway, so we're fighting now. We're trying to get this Ganji right here, and then, oh, look, he went over there now. So we have Primal Rage right now, so we kind of don't have to worry about what we do, because we can just brute force and engage when we have Primal Rage ready. So I've gone back to point out that Ana just died. The kill feed's up there. Ana just died. So that means we should just, like, go fucking in, because they've lost their main healer. And if we can now also, and now they just lost their Widow as well, so now they're just 4v6. So now, just like, if we can get this boy, it's all over for him. Reinhardt just used Earth Shatter, and McCree used Deadeye. Not necessary, we'd pretty much already won that fight anyway. Like, you know, you could argue using one of them, hey, definitely win, right? But, like, using both of them, oh, Jesus Christ. That's egregious. So we're gonna go after Widow here, and here comes a big mistake, because I'm okay with doing this, because it's relatively low risk we die, honestly. And if we can kill Widow right now, she'll be staggered. And that's great. That's awesome if we can stagger her. But then we double the fuck down on use Primal Rage right here after she's pretty much gotten away from us. And we end up dying as well. So I'm with it up until a certain point. Because like this, alright, fair enough. If we stagger her, fantastic. Pretty low risk, all things considered. I'm not sure why we stopped exactly right here. We did just, like, stop moving suddenly right there. Looked like we had, like, a major midlife crisis right there, to be honest with you. I'm not okay with doing this, because now we're just, like, going into their spawn. Huge risk of death. Oh, look, death happened. And we used our ultimate for it as well. So, pretty much the worst possible outcome we could have. So I'm with it, you know, as soon as she starts to get away, I'm not with it anymore. And then the ult, oh god, Jesus, no, far too much, far too much. You know, right idea, but this is the thing, this is why I don't, because people love to give this advice. I'm trying to get this cup off my fucking table. People love to give this advice where they're like, push up to get a stagger. The problem is that that's advice you can really easily take too far. And it's why I don't usually say it. Because if you tell someone that they should try and push up to get staggers between fights, it's really easy to watch people do exactly what we just did, where they'll go too far and end up throwing for it, right? Because if you stagger the person, realistically you gain your team like 10 extra seconds of time, or something in that region, right? Somewhere between 10 and 20 seconds extra time, theoretically, right? Probably 15 on the average. So that's great. Any free time you can buy your team is awesome. But the potential downside is you throw the game. So, 15 seconds, lose the game. You know, it's pretty big risk. And I mean, yeah, it's good to do. You definitely want to do it, but you can really, really easily get too greedy. And if you're too greedy, you can lose the round. So that's why I don't usually give that advice to, like, push up for staggers, because especially in, like, lower SRs, like, it's really, people will stagger themselves in lower SRs. You don't usually have to go out of your way to make it happen, usually. So we got stuck in a graviton, which is unfortunate, to say the very least. So, yeah, it's possible we wouldn't be in this position if we didn't die, because we would have been there longer. You know, we would have been there to have, like, more effect over the situation previously, but, like, you know, that happened in another universe, so we'll never know. So this is the kind of situation where you're like, man, if we win, or if we hold this objective now, it's going to be a fucking Christmas miracle, honestly, because it's going badly in all respects. Reinhardt had Earth Shatter, so we had that going for us, which was nice. But then Reinhardt died as well, and nobody else was really there to take advantage of it, so it didn't really accomplish a whole lot, and yeah, they're gonna capture the checkpoint. Oh, well, it's fine, because it doesn't, like, this is the outlook I try to have with Overwatch. It doesn't really matter how well you defend. Like, if you can defend well, obviously that's great. Like, obviously that's great, right? Because if you full hold them, easy peasy. But all that really matters is how well you attack. Because as long as you attack better than the enemy team, you'll win, regardless of how well you can defend. Now you can make the same argument about defense, and it kind of flips how, like, if really low SR, defense will win more often because the attackers won't know how to attack. But as you get higher and higher, it slowly gets easier to attack, and the defenders actually have less to work with. Mostly just because, like, if you're defending, you don't have to lose many fights, right? So as long as the attacking team can regroup quickly and, like, doesn't just continually waste their resources, they always get more chances. Like, they get to have more second chances than the defending team does. Like, if you're on a 2CP map, right? You can lose in 2 fights if you're defending, right? You can lose in 2 fights. Whereas if you're the attacking team, assuming it takes you, like, 30 seconds to regroup every time, you can get at least double that, but you'll probably get somewhere in the region of, like, 6 failed fights. And, like, if your team is generally speaking good, that just is in your favor mathematically, isn't it? You just have more chances to go again if you fail. So, you know, the problem with lower SRs is, like, people will die, like, you'll lose a team fight once, and it'll take your team, like, a solid minute and a half to actually regroup, so you actually only end up getting, like, a couple of real attempts at a fight where nobody, like, sometimes not even that, right, depending on how many people get staggered, because we've all been there, right, we've all been attacking Hanamura, lost the first fight, and then for the next 3.5 minutes, you just watch, like, oh, Zenyatta got picked off now outside the gate, great. Oh, look, now Farah was trying to poke while we were regrouping, so now she's dead as well. Oh, look, Reinhardt went too far up and he got hooked and died, right? Like, and then that just keeps happening the whole time. Definitely happens, but, yeah. Anyway, I don't remember what I was talking about anymore, to be honest with you. I got so rambling and incoherent that I forgot what the original point was. I'm not interested in making concise and salient points, that's just not who I am. So we've got to attack now. Oh, that says it doesn't matter how well you defend. All that really matters is how well you attack. So we've spotted Anna. Anna's got Discord Orb on her. We really want her dead. But they're employing the most heinous of tactic, and that's fucking teamwork. My god. So we're trying to kill her, and fucking Lucio comes over here to help her. Well, how fucking inconsiderate is that? God damn, Lucio. We're just trying to have a good time with Grandma over here, Jesus fucking Christ. Unbelievable. Now, we did still, like, pressure them, right? So we see 2 people died. Here's how you justify things to yourself, right? We were pressuring both their healers right now, and 2 people died. Either right while we were pressuring them, or just after we stopped pressuring them. So we say to ourselves, aha, we made that happen, actually, because we were the reason the healers weren't there to try and keep them alive. Ho ho, good job, team. And by team, I mean me. I actually did all of this. That's how you justify things to yourself. That could actually be why they died, but, you know, that's just what you say. That's how you make what you did feel like you did something, even if you actually didn't. So, there you go. So, a few of their team are dead right now. We have jumped in without our bubble right now, and we were not full health when we jumped in either, which is 2 social faux pas, which mixed together creates one really big no-pas. But it's okay, Mercy rests us, so we didn't get punished, which means we don't actually have to learn from that. Thanks, Mercy. Elevator music's playing in my head right now. So, they're starting to regroup, but I mean, like, barely. There's a couple of them here. We did just spend, like, a fair chunk of time not really doing anything, honestly. Like, so we do all this, and we're like, oh, fuck, I'm over here. Now I just, like, slowly walk by. Now I jump over here, where, oh, nothing's here happening anymore. So now just really bad, like, we just, like, jump back on the payload right now. I hold back, jump on the payload, and start tasing the people on the payload. Instead, we we just did nothing for, like, 10 seconds. Which is really bad. Because we're looking to have as much uptime as possible. Regardless of who we're playing. Like, you don't want to ever spend time not doing anything, and we just spent some time not doing anything during that fight. So I've almost got Primal Rage built up again. Genji just got picked off by Widowmaker, which is very depressing. But, you know, it's Genji. What can we expect? Oh, Mercy rests him. Don't have to get punished. Don't have to learn. Now, we do know that Widow just killed the Genji over there, right? And now Mercy's gone up to res the guy. She's behind a wall, but it's not impossible she gets shot by Widow. So if we're really concerned, we could go and, like, jump up, bubble the Mercy right there to try and make sure she doesn't die while she's rezzing the person, which would be really bad. And, like, right now, like, we're waiting for stuff to happen, right? So we could just put the bubble down, and then by the time a fight's actually happening, then we can go in with the bubble not long after it'll have started. And it just kind of, like, removes the risk of Mercy getting picked off. But she was behind cover at the same time, you know. It's just one of those things where it's like, well, I could reduce this risk to 0, basically, without that much opportunity cost. Maybe I have to wait like a second or two by the time the payload actually gets into a position where we're going to be fighting somebody, you know? Just remove the risk to 0 rather than the risk of like 10%. So Genji used Dragon Blade and killed a few people. Genji got... Right after being rezzed by Mercy, Genji died again to Widowmaker again. So Mercy was probably really stoked about that one. This motherfucker, I bring him back to life so many times, and yet still... Angela! I need healing. That's always my favorite, when somebody dies from something that one-shots them, and then they spam, I need healing, I need healing, I need healing, after they're dead. After it was... As if it was somehow Mercy's fault that the tire killed you. Right? Like, as if it was somehow Mercy's fault you got headshot by Widowmaker. Right? Like, if she'd been tethered to him, would have been fine. You would have taken the damage, but Mercy's gonna suddenly kick into turbo healing, so before you hit 0 health, you actually get healed again, like fucking Earthbound. Now, there's a very specific reference to Earthbound right there. Good job if you got it. So... I don't know if it's true of the other Mother games. I only know Earthbound. So, whatever. So, we've jumped him without our bubble again. But we do have Primal Rage this time, so that's not as bad because we have Primal Rage. So, Hammond's going in. Not really a great time to go in, but we're fucking going in right now. They managed to... The backline managed to start getting away from us, so we were like, alright, I'll just back out. However, by this point, like, we could have lived, because we can just use Primal Rage right now. They fixed that bug where the anti-healing would only give you 500 hit points. Now it gives you the 1,000 hit points regardless. One of those things that was like, oh, I didn't really realize that was a bug. I kind of thought that was an intended feature, because it was like, yeah, he gains 500 and heals 500. No. It's one of those, you know, I always find that interesting when something was like a bug, but you could have thought that it was a feature of the game instead, right? There was one for Hearthstone as well. And, you know, I'll try and keep it concise for this part. So, Hearthstone, you got the hero, who's got 30 health, right? But then the hero can also have armor on top of that. Health goes up to 30, sometimes it can go above that, but basically it's capped at 30. Armor you can have an infinite amount of. Now, there's an effect in the game called freeze, which is that whichever character is frozen, they lose their next attack. Your hero can attack if they have a weapon equipped. There was, in beta, before the game actually came out, there was a bug where if you had armor on and you got hit by an effect that froze you, you would not get frozen. And no one knew that was a bug. Because everyone was like, oh, right, it didn't actually hit the hero, right? It hit the armor, not the hero, so the hero didn't get frozen. No, one day in the patch notes it just said, fixed a bug where heroes with armor would not get frozen. It's like, oh, that was a bug? I didn't know. That could have just been a feature. And the Winston anti-heal thing with Primal Rage was one of those things where I was like, I thought that was intended. But no, apparently it was a bug. Just turned up one day. Fixed that. Problem solved. Great job, Blizzard. Notice how both games were Blizzard products, so we could have just used Primal Rage there. Like, we're pretty committed to the team fight by this point. Our team will be regrouping. We started using ultimates. Like, we're committed to the team fight. We might as well double down at that point. So, but we died. It's alright, we got res though, so we didn't get punished, which means we didn't have to learn. We've managed to kill Lucio, which is great. Now we've lost both our healers, which is bad. We killed Lucio, but I don't know if they've lost their other healer, so we decide to use Primal Rage now. I'm less excited to use Primal Rage right there, because that's after we've lost both our healers, which I consider to be a much worse time to use Primal Rage overall than previously. But we killed them anyway, so it's fine. But I would have actually been hesitant to use Primal Rage then. I would have used it the first time round, so I would have never been in that position. But second time, I'm not as into it. So, oof. That jump got really messy, really quickly. What were we trying to do? It's like, this is all happening, that's kind of a fuck. Yeah, we just did, so we're like, Widow detected is what happened right here. We're like, oh, she's over there in that doorway. I gotta get her. So we jump, but we're already on top of her, so we didn't need to jump. So the jump only just, like, bonked us onto the ceiling, and then, like, Widow fucks up real bad because she corners herself again right afterwards, right? But because we used our jump when we didn't need to, it was possible she could have put a lot of distance between us and her with the hook shot. So, like, didn't need to jump. We were already right on top of the lady, so didn't need to jump. But we were like, oh, Widow, oof. You know, standard Winston reaction, but... I forgot to, like, watch if we're doing this. Are we punching people to finish them off? Because we should be punching people to finish them off. Because it just, you know, lowers risk of them getting healed. Blah. We've talked about this one 1,000 times in the past. If you tase them down, that takes longer than just, like, punching the last 30 hit points off of them, or however much. So we've decided to use Primal Rage right now, just because it kind of feels like we might still lose the fight. Like, we were still favored in the fight, but honestly it did still feel like it could have gone either way at that point in time, and Primal Rage, I'm not too heartbroken if we waste Primal Rage, right? Like, it's not the same as wasting a Graviton, you know? Obviously, you don't want to waste on any ultimate, but there are some ultimates I'm more willing to use just to make sure we win a fight, right? Because if I'm playing like Zarya, and I've got Graviton, if I'm, like, pretty sure we're gonna win the fight, I won't use Graviton to make sure we win the fight. But if I'm playing, like, Reinhardt, I'm prepared to use Earth Shatter to make sure we still win the fight. Because Earth Shatter charges so much faster than Graviton does. And is generally less helpful, like, they both still have, like, huge results, obviously, but, like, Graviton is, like, more consistent than Earth Shatter is. Both for bug reasons and just the way the ultimate works. Like, it's easier to get a big Graviton than an Earth Shatter. So, we've managed to kill their Winston. We could have just jumped over onto the Widowmaker right here, because, like, our team seems pretty fine right now, and, like, Widow's actually, like, looks like she's using her hook shot. No, that was her Venom Mine. They both just, like, extend arm. I was like, it looks like she's about to use her hook shot. That was the Venom Mine she tossed down there. Could have still jumped on the Widow, jumped up on the high ground, started tasing down at her. Genji was over there as well. They were really isolated from their teammates, so, you know, whereas instead we're just kind of not doing anything during this period of time instead, and we could have jumped on their backline. Just to try and be doing something, basically, during that time, since Widow was so isolated from everybody else. So now we're in the Graviton. Zenyatta already used Transcendence, so Zarya's just like, oh, really? Well, I can't wait for the next can't wait for 6 seconds from now. Alright, easy peasy. So the thing with Zenyatta, right, is like, Transcendence is really good fuck your ultimate, but if they just hold an ultimate, or force you to use it early, then no problem anymore. Free real estate. Don't have to worry. So we went really far up to try and get that Genji. We weren't ever going to get the Genji, we just basically wanted him gone, but it ended up in us almost dying. Because Widow's still out there. So, we're up here now, looking for Widowmaker. We decided to give up on Widowmaker because we spotted Ana. And Genji was also trying to kill Ana at the same time. Now, unfortunately, they used Sound Barrier, which makes it very difficult to kill that person at that point. But we got Widow in the end, even though we weren't trying to kill Widow to begin with. So, hey, it worked out, I guess. Fight going really badly. We have Primal Rage, but we've lost Hammond and both our healers at this point, so we don't want to use it. We just want to... We've actually managed to get out a lot... Oh, no, here he comes. Okay. Alright. Honestly, that's great news, because we'd already lost that fight, and now he's used Dragon Blade in between the two fights. So honestly, that's great news for us. That's fucking fantastic. Because now he doesn't have it to use on the next team fight, which is basically our last team fight. So, I mean, we could maybe get another team fight in there, but pretty unlikely. So this is pretty much our last team fight. And now they don't have Dragon Blade. So Mercy's used that, but we've immediately lost 2 people right as the fight started. Now we've lost 3 people right as the fight started. Oh, Mercy's rezzing 1 person. It didn't work. Mercy's dead now. So yeah, we're gonna disengage. Alright, now, back to it. So, last fight. Didn't go particularly well, and now the next fight is definitely not gonna go particularly well. Honestly, this is the point where I just go, well, if I die now, there's a good chance I don't get back again in time for another fight, honestly. And I'm about to die. I'll just use Primal Rage, honestly, just to, like, make sure I don't die. Because, like, if we died right there, our whole team's gonna have to go in 5v6, and I mean... You know. Oh. So I just do it anyway, just to make sure I didn't die right there. Seeing as we were down to like 20 health, and we didn't get to use Primal Rage anyway, because we decided to go for a little bit of a round around, and reach around. It didn't really pay off, so now we're in the same situation regardless, except now even worse, because we're actually already in overtime now, whereas previously we would have had 10 seconds left. Goes... You know, could we, you know, hold S? Nah, well, I don't know if it works in the air, actually. We overshot, you know. Let's be real. We lost, regardless, didn't we? Let's not worry about it that much. Not us. Luigi 94X, which is presumably... You know, that's, you know how Jason Voorhees went to space? That's going to be when Luigi goes to space. You know, but Nintendo would have to actually acknowledge Luigi exists for that to happen, which is almost as unlikely as them acknowledging Waluigi exists. So, you know. God, remember when, like... Remember when Luigi's Mansion came out, and that was, like, one of the best... Mario-related games ever, which ironically featured almost no Mario. Good times. Remember when they made Metroid games? I know they're making Metroid Prime 4 right now. Remember when there were Metroid games that weren't Other M? Good times. Remember when Star Fox wasn't everything it is now? Remember when Star Fox was good as well? Oh my god. I only care about the Nintendo properties that Nintendo itself holds in nothing but contempt, right? Luigi? Yeah, fuck Luigi. Samus? Oh, alright, so, Other M. Well, that didn't go over very well. I guess they just don't like Samus. Fuck. Throw that one away, I guess. Star Fox? Well, they put him on Dinosaur Planet. Fuck it. Fuck it. That game was actually pretty good. Was it a good Star Fox game? No, but the game was actually pretty good. We were playing Overwatch, by the way. I can't remember anything that happened because there was a big gap in the middle of this where I had to stop and then start again. So I don't remember fucking anything. So the moral of the story is fuck Nintendo because they hate everything I love. I know they're making Metroid Prime 4. Took them fucking long enough, didn't it? They put out Other M and Federation Force. So, you know, I've not exactly been won over again yet just because it's coming. Because who knows, it might come out and then it might fucking Metal Gear Solid 2 us. It might be like, hey, here's Samus. You love Samus, right? Psych! You're playing one of the little midgets and the robots again. So thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Oh fuck, there's an email. Hold on. Oh my god. There was an email. Was there a question here? It's because Winston is good against Genji, but can he reliably kill him 1v1? I had some trouble doing so in this game, as I found it hard to finish him off before he could use his high mobility to get out of range. I try to avoid spending a lot of effort analyzing the mistakes of my teammates, but I'm wondering, was part of the problem whether the supports picked and stayed on characters vulnerable to Genji, or could I have been able to completely shut down Genji with better play? So, yes, you can 1v1 Winston. The problem is just that, like, yeah, you know, if you're going in to fight Genji when you're, like, half health, then Genji has the advantage at that point, because it's like Genji does damage, right, and you're easy to hit. So, like, if you're, like, half health, Genji will kill you before you kill Genji a lot of the time, because you still have, like, a set amount of time it's going to take you to kill him. Try to punch Genji to finish him off. The thing is, though, is that Genji's one of those heroes that, even if you're playing Genji's counters, he still has potential to outplay you. So, like, and the thing is with Winston, it's like Winston counters Tracer, but not because he kills Tracer 100% of the time. He actually quite rarely kills Tracer. But he's really good at zoning Tracer. So, yeah, you can 1v1 Genji. It's just that, like, as long as Genji isn't an idiot, you'll never really kill him, because he'll always just dash away from you at the end. It's just that, like, you make it difficult for Genji to do stuff, right? Like, you're zoning the Genji, you're harassing the Genji, more than, like, killing the Genji every single time you see him, you know, that kind of thing. So, to me, like, the supports getting picked off, like, they died a lot right at the start of these team fights, which is a problem, right? Like, even right at the end, we watched Zenyatta walk forward ahead of everybody else and get shot in the face by Widowmaker, right? Like, there's not a lot you can do about that one, you know? There's a case that's like, we had Hammond Winston as our tanks for a lot of this, so that makes it difficult for the immobile supports like Zenyatta to stay alive, because if we're playing Hammond and Winston, we're going to spend a lot of time going in, right? Like, we don't, especially if we're attacking. If we're defending, you know, you do a little bit more waiting around as Winston, but you're going to be going in a lot. So if we're not playing like an anchor tank, then the vulnerable supports like Zenyatta and Ana are usually left alone a lot. And that's not an issue if we're applying a lot of pressure and people aren't getting picked out. You know, if everything's going well, then that's not an issue. But, like, they can get bullied a lot. So, I don't think in this game we could have made the supports' lives significantly easier. I actually think the thing that seemed like it was causing them the most trouble was Widowmaker, not actually Genji, because I feel like I saw Widowmaker kill them more than Genji. But that could just be biased from, like, the last thing being Widowmaker, so my stupid monkey brain is like, oh yeah, Widow was the problem, right? Because it's really easy to fixate on the last mistake on the match, whereas really you should fixate on the first mistake of the match. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so I don't think in this game, like, we necessarily made much of a difference. I think that what might have made a bigger difference was actually changing to, like, Reinhardt, because then we can basically stop Widowmaker from shooting them, because we can just hold the shield up, right? And Junkertown doesn't allow for too many, like, options to get around, and their team was, like, really bad at breaking barriers, right? They had Genji Widowmaker, so, like, the barrier health would not be an issue for us, and we could have just basically blocked Widow and everybody else, right? Like, Genji still being a problem, yeah, but, like, if he jumps in, you can bash him with the hammer, and then Genji's gonna go, oh fuck, I better leave, right? So, like, being Reinhardt might have actually made a bigger difference, because I feel like Widow was more of an issue than Genji was. But I kind of feel like it wasn't gonna make a difference, and, like, I don't really have, like, a scientific explanation to give you exactly why I don't think that might have made a difference. It's just from the overall, like, tone of the way the game went. It feels like one of those situations where, like, if we change to solve that problem, we would have just had more trouble with another problem instead. You know, it feels like it was one of those games. And I know that, like, you know, basically I'm going, my gut tells me we lost anyway, which is not particularly helpful. Could we have played better? Yeah, undeniably. You're never going to play perfectly. But I don't think we had control over the outcome of this game. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't have control over the outcome of the game. There's always the caveat of, well, you could play like a god in that game, and then you win, right? But that's not exactly consistent results. So, basically, you know, yeah, you counter Genji, fucking back to the question originally, right? So yeah, you do counter Genji, but as Winston, you'll have a lot of trouble killing Genji unless Genji fucks up, or you have help from other people, because it's just that kind of matchup where he can always leave, pretty much. You know, if, like, he jumps in, if he dashes in on people and you tase him, then, like, because, like, if he dashes in to try and kill somebody, you can just put the bubble around the person he's trying to kill, and then tase the guy, and, like, because he dashed in, if you keep the guy alive by, like, putting the bubble over him and then trying to body block the Genji, he can't get the kill, he can't get the reset, he can't get back out again, and then that's the kind of situation where you can kill Genji. But if it's just, like, you see Genji up to no good, just, like, standing over there, poking and harassing, if you jump on him, he immediately dashes away, and then you can't kill Genji anymore, right? So it's like, if you kill Genji, you pretty much have to be, it has to revolve around fucking Genji up when he, like, makes a mistake or overcommits. You'll never really be able to just, like, jump on the guy and kill him, because he just dashes away. So, if you're in a situation where it feels like Genji is, like, killing your backline a lot, and you're having trouble killing him, you can just, like, sit with the backline, he dashes in to kill a guy, I body block, I put the bubble down, you know, I make it difficult for Genji to actually secure the kill, and then I kill Genji then. Or just, like, drive him off, at the very least, right? Because you don't have to kill him, necessarily, it's more just about, like, stopping him from killing people. Because flankers are all about applying pressure and all that, and getting picks if they can, right? So, like, if you're just, like, reliably shutting his attempts at aggression down, then you're fucking, like, Genji's not doing anything anymore at that point, because he's not fulfilling his purpose. So, anyway, that was really rambling and incoherent as well, but hopefully you took something from it. So thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you felt I answered your question from the email inadequately, please let me know, and I'll try to expand further. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us. We're gonna do it. What are we gonna do? Hold on, I'm building up to it. If you liked the video, please like the video and subscribe for similar videos. Oh god. Oh, it hurt me physically to be such a YouTuber. Oh god. Except that it does actually, you know, sadly, it's proven it does actually get people to subscribe. So there you go. But oh god, it hurt me in my soul. So I hope you found the video helpful.